this call also. So first of all, I want to make my introduction and thank Sebastian for connecting me with me on WhatsApp originally, and obviously our blessings to his friend Kern for speedy recovery from his accident, and obviously congratulations to him and his wife on the second child coming. So send our global regards to him, and obviously thanks Sebastian for this awesome introduction to Ivan. I was obviously super impressed with what I read on his profile, and absolutely, his sale, which includes love, which we ultimately that's what differentiates to me. That's what differentiate, like I said to you, the true AI from us human. But anyway, we're gonna just jump in there. But I also have Chief Chimmy, Dr. Chimmy. He's a very prominent partner of our collective. I discussed with him yesterday. You saw from the briefing I gave you with he's in discussion with the Minister of Innovation, Science and Technology as well about what we're trying to do and getting Nigeria. Myself and our collective, just give a background, but I'm just going to go straight into it. Went to Nigeria in 2018, where we were invited to NNPC, which is the sixth largest oil and gas producer reserve in the world. And I'm going to go into that in a moment. I know that's where we're into clean energy, but we're also invited to the presidential. We receive a humanitarian award for what we are doing. So our collective is built on the holy trinity of ABC, which is art, business, and charity. We believe that is the true long-term sustainability for humanity. And that's why we're also very, very closely associated with the United Nations. In fact, I'm on the board of 3 UN NGO. And in 2020, we hosted a major conference, AI blockchain combating poverty and climate change here in New York. And moving forward, I would like to discuss with you on the possibility of hosting perhaps an even more important conference, which is on this humanized AI, because like I said, we're preaching to a choir here, of course, but we all know the great tool that AI can be, but also the great threat that AI can be as well. And here we have engineer Kinsley, who's introduced to by Chief Chimmy. And the reason why I mentioned Nigeria is Nigeria is the most populous nation in Africa. We all know that Africa is coming back into prominence in the world. Nigeria is very, very rich resource. So again, the reason why I brought this up is one thing that Nigeria currently is lacking. They want to build their own AGI. I'm going to let them introduce themselves and discuss what they're trying to do in Nigeria and Africa. But if they want to basically control their own destiny, one of the main key point that they need to do is build their own data center, which is, as you know, expensive. But Nigeria has the economic powerhouse in principle to do this. And they're also very energy consuming power plants as well. We're talking about gigawatts, but Nigeria is also rich in resources, including LNG, natural gas, and oil. So they have the necessary energy to do their own data center. But anyway, so that's why we have a lot of Nigerians coming on board. They're very, very interesting to hear what we are proposing to safeguard the world and how they implement this, not just in Nigeria and not just for Africa, but in principle for the rest of the world. But enough of myself. I'm going to let my wife just quickly say hi to the rest of you. So she's there. You want to say hi, Andrea?
Well, guten Morgen to everybody in Switzerland.
Guten Morgen.
Yeah. My German is rusty because I haven't spoke any of it since like 2016, but I wish to learn it again someday. And my background is on filmmaking and marketing. I've been working as a creative director of marketing for our collective for the past 6 years. That was long before I fell in love with the genius mind that my husband is, Dr. Yang. And I'm a independent producer and filmmaker. I've specialized myself in doing documentaries. My most awarded documentary is based on the science that my husband developed. He's a nuclear physicist as well, and he really solved some of the greatest mysteries of our cosmos through his science. So that documentary got a lot of awards. And my latest contribution to documentary, it's one of the first documentaries that is winning AI awards based on water, the environment, and the future of water in the planet, the water crisis. But I cannot speak much on that, just so you know a little bit about me. And Dankeschön. I'm looking forward to hear from you guys.
Yeah, my wife is not only beautiful but super talented, creatively and linguistically. Regrettably, I can say that I'm your typical British American. I only know English, so I'm spoiled. So, but anyway, enough about me. Obviously, I'm going to come back and talk about my own patented AI. But before that, I would like to give the platform, Sebastian, to you first, and then Ivan to quickly introduce yourself, and then we'll go into the nitty-gritty of how we can create the world's first truly humanized AI. So, Sebastian, since you made this initial introduction, I'll give the platform first to you, sir. Thank you.
Leon, thank you very much. And thank you everyone for attending this wonderful meeting. On a kind of short notice, I only reached out to Leon on the 6th of April, following an inner call, I would say, as a result of a mental reach out at the global scale. So maybe a short introduction of my background. I'm from a mechanical engineering background, born in Germany, and already saw the system collapsing throughout my entire education path, and decided in 2012 to relocate to another country. And in 2014, I relocated to Australia, Perth, Australia, which was a very interesting journey, a very eye-opening journey, where I had the opportunity to enter in a bigger manufacturing business that served the resource sector with mechanical spare parts for the biggest earth-moving machines on the planet. And what we found was a very depressed labor market. And I had to kind of do 6 full-time positions on a daily basis to just cover what was needed to deliver the parts in the end. And what we were struggling with was a suppressed workforce that didn't really much believe in themselves, what they can do and what they're capable of, due to being suppressed by the system. So there were just, I mean, I know that most of you guys come from a mechanical background, engineering, industry, business, and now talking about building data centers, AI. So you got to have some sort of technical understanding in that area. And yeah, so what we did back then was trying to find a way, how can we leverage the workforce we have? Because we had everything against us. So you had unskilled labor. Australia does not produce any skilled labor within the industry for known reasons. Immigration sector was totally against you. So even if you found people outside the country that were capable of what was required to do the job, you couldn't get them into the country fast enough. So now you get to a point of you only have what you have at that moment in time to deliver what's needed and grow business. And there was no one there to help. There was no system in place. Every educational path I looked at, too slow, too expensive. When you have to deliver stuff at that scale, you can't wait 4 years to pursue an educational path, and then take that knowledge and then try to apply it and figure out how you want to run the business and so forth. So put that in numbers, we were doing 6 million turnover in Australian dollars with 40 people, 1 apprentice. That was in 2016. And then I started the path of self-education on a continuous basis. So whilst I was doing all those positions in the business, I spent most of the day developing myself first in order to help others. You can't just tell people what to do. It doesn't work. You're just creating a massive resistance within those people. No one likes to be told what to do. It needs to actually come from themselves, from the inside, that they want to do it. So I started educating myself very deeply on leadership, just to get people motivated again, to go above and beyond their own limiting beliefs. And further to that, to be able to pull that kind of workload within or over a period of 8 years every day, you start looking at not only leadership, you also look at mental and physical health, and then you look at value chain advancements. And the interesting part was, whilst I was on the path on my self-development, then helping those people within the business, very interesting mechanics started to happen throughout the business. We started with a change that what you get told as leadership as a tool to manage people. I put the people first. So focus was human-centric leadership. So I changed, if you end on the top position, you change your own position to the bottom, and then you start leveraging the floor. So I was seeing what they needed to perform at a daily basis and then provide it to them. And you're talking about a workforce that were not earning a lot of income. They had their families overseas, which they needed to support. And they come from a very poor background. The possibilities in the market, where an average person would earn 55,000 Australian dollars on a yearly basis, and then high-performing people could earn within the same business, doing the same work, about 150, 180,000 Australian dollars a year. So you see that massive gap just based on performance. So once you start providing human-centric leadership, you open their eyes, you get them motivated. Once you introduce mental and physiological health, you get them moving on a prolonged period of time without getting sick throughout the year. On top of that, you put in what they needed to develop themselves. They started to increase their performance. And then when you start to connecting them, the power of oneness, when they start working together, they basically become unstoppable. And what we've done is I had to take 2 years time to develop myself throughout all the struggles we had. And then in 2019, when COVID started to appear and the pandemic hit, in that downturn, we actually doubled everything. So we were able to do the double amount of work with less people, more apprentices, and extremely high profit margins, serving much greater clients throughout the resource sector. And that's how I started developing human resource performance development at the start, where we just focused on developing human resources, which is very limiting. I mean, you only focus on human resources. And based on that, when we relocated back to Switzerland, because of the pandemic and how it all panned out, we had to go back to Europe to be there for our families. The system I created in the background, I tested it in Switzerland in 2 businesses. And it's not that I tested it for the businesses. I tested what was possible within the workforce. What is possible within a highly depressed workforce? If you look at the global work report I sent through, which will be surely shared after that meeting as well with everyone else, if not done already. You can see the patterns. If you're in Switzerland, you would think, okay, Switzerland is a very developed country. They have very developed infrastructure and industries, and you have biotech here and all this kind of stuff. If you go on the platforms called Kununu and you type in any big business you want to look at, you see the exact same patterns of a depressed workforce. And that's a total failure in leadership, because it's disguised as it's a disguise for really managing people and manipulative strategies on the workforce. So what I've done, I entered a business from the automotive sector. Numbers wise, it's 100 million turnover with 30% profit margin, delivering the greatest automotive players in the market, Daimler, BMW, and so forth. And it was exactly the same thing. And what I found, it took me only 2 weeks to figure out what the problems were and what they were struggling with, and then targeted the workforce, leveraging the bottom. You put your position below the people, and not only try to apply human-centric leadership and so forth, and get them motivated for change. And I did that so successful that the company terminated my employment instantly, gave me a pretty decent payout. They never come back. The result of all that was that the company is now having a lawsuit over 20 million, not from me, but from the automotive industry, because they haven't addressed the issues I outlined to the head leadership. And they're also part of a big global corporation, which is kind of insane. They could have saved that. They could have been also able to take over the market sector they wanted to take over, which is fluid control in engines and cars. So the second business I targeted as well, did another hard trial, and it followed the exact same patterns. It's where the business was struggling to manufacture profitably in Switzerland, and then had to relocate the manufacturing part of the business to Spain. And the manufacturing part of Spain, they were not capable of producing the quality needed for that product. So same thing, I outlined what's required for the business. And then obviously what you have is head leadership is concerned that you kind of, I don't know what they're concerned about, but it's something to do with the ego. We get to that later. And then obviously you get taken out. So with all that experience collected over the years, I've started founding a path where we can actually leverage exactly that. So when you look at the depressed workforce and how everything around us is kind of collapsing, I'm pretty sure most of you are aware of. It's called the perfect storm. And that will only be accelerated by AI at the moment, but AGI will basically then cause the ultimate defeat of humanity, which makes it the greatest humanitarian project ever created, if you want to save what needs to be saved. And with HPD, so human performance development, and in partnership with Ivan and the Council for Human Development, we see a path where the collapse can be leveraged. And that actually has an insane potential of going above and beyond everything there is and anything that we can imagine. And I want to add something to the AI safety part, which we later talk about. There is a very interesting interview with the DOAC on YouTube with Stuart Russell. I'm not sure if you know him. Please look him up. Happy to share the link, especially as a certain moment in that interview, he's getting asked the question if he would stop the AI development, or if he would, knowing that what it could cause, that AGI could wipe out humanity off this planet. And the problem, what I saw there, is that he hesitated to respond to that question. And that hesitation shows that if you have worked on that topic for 40 years, you will have a hard time letting it go on admitting that you may have made a mistake, or that this AI is not at a stage of development safety enough where it needs to be. And these people, as you also outlined, Leon, in your message to us, they will not only hesitate, but they won't press the button. They will let it happen. So, and this is basically what we see as the biggest concern and the result of unconscious human beings. They are there where the origin is just the result of the system that surrounds us. And I have a ton of documentation that provides in-depth details on how this all plays out and how it's all connected. So yeah. So that's my background and my not only idea, but my intention behind this is actually saving what needs to be saved and creating a team of people that can really do the work that needs to be done. So not talking to talk, but walking. Sorry, Leon, you're on mute. Still on mute.
Sorry, thank you,
Oh, yeah.
Sebastian. Appreciate this introduction, and you're absolutely hitting the nail on the head. And in fact, my wife always tells me, a hammer can be used either to build a house or it can be used as a weapon. So we have to make sure that the AI that we are developing together is used productively to build a house and not used as a weapon. So thank you again, Sebastian. So Ivan, I will leave the platform to you to introduce yourself, sir, and your amazing sale philosophy, which I got a chance to read it, and it is absolutely beautiful. So Ivan, over to you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Leon. Thank you for inviting Sebastian and myself today. I will try really to make it short because the things that are good, they're simple ones, you know. Usually, as soon as somebody is trying to make it complex, then it's something strange there, you know. The issue is very simple. I'm a master in mechanical engineering and master in strategic management, and I have been working 20 years for the biggest world corporations like ABB and Alstom. And I noticed one very strange thing, that my bosses were very educated, intelligent people, hardworking people, but I have had during my whole career just one leader as a boss. And what we have now on this planet is leadership crisis. We have sufficient food. We have bad distribution. We have sufficient wealth. We have bad distribution of the wealth. Africa, we have to support Africa. Africa doesn't need support. Africa has everything. Africa needs freedom and truth. And they can manage themselves. I mean, they're good in sport. They can be good also in business. They can manage themselves. Look, Burkina Faso. Look a few other countries in Africa. They're dealing good. Of course, they need time. They need everything. They need highways. They need airports. They need harbors. They need factories. They need to put. But they will achieve that. We didn't have it that too in Europe, but we needed 300-400 years to reach that level. Now it's much easier, much faster in modern life, with IT, with AI, etc. So, to make the long story short, I realized and try 12 years to understand, asking myself to create my leadership methodology, because usually leadership methodology is you go to leadership course and they say, you should be like this, you should be like this, you should be like this. What I can do if I'm introvert and I'm bad speaker, I cannot change that and not pretend to be a good speaker when I have to step up in front of 1,000 people and make a presentation if I'm introvert and bad speaker, you know. You cannot be what you are not. And this world full of people who are pretending to be, the girls who are pretending to be fatal women, the guys who are pretending to be machos, the bosses who are pretending they are big leaders, etc. That's disaster. That's a pure disaster. It's just it's everybody's holding some sort of mask on your face that society glue on your face during your childhood by expectations of your environment and your phenotype. And therefore, even the English word person or German person and in other languages the same are coming from Latin language, which means a mask. The mask that on the wooden stick, like this pencil, wooden stick, the actors in those days, back then just men, in the Greek and Roman theater had been holding during the theater, during the drama, in front of their face, playing the role. So persona is the mask. The basic meaning of the word person is a mask that you're holding, presenting your fake face to the world. And to go back to the subject of sale, I have analyzing all big leaders in the history, like Nelson Mandela, who was a great leader, like Michael Jordan in basketball, like in many, many areas, to try to find what is common. What are the 4 basics elements as a fundament for the house? You know, you cannot start from the roof. You have to start from fundament. And what are the fundaments to have a chance to become a leader? And those are these abbreviations. So sincerity, authenticity, integrity, and love. Therefore, I see a huge alignment with your concept, with collective, with others that are involved, because because as I said, and going to your project, I don't want to talk about me. I would like to talk about connection. Humanized AI. In which sense humanized AI? Humanized with this, what I described as the most of the world based on ego, based on shadow, based on fake persons, based on terrible leadership in politics, in sport, in culture, everywhere. Look what is going on in this bloody world. I mean, if the world would be a kind of living organism, and it is basically, this organism is sick. It's completely sick. You have the news that the kids are dying of the hunger, and in the same page you have the news that 500 tons of butter was burned in thermal power plant today in Europe because of the war reserves, strategic war reserves. Like always, the butter is outdated. They have to destroy it. Sorry. Sorry, I'm strange in the night. I do not understand. What is this, for the God's sake? And we have such stuff. We have such events. We are living in such a world. So back to your project, humanized AI. What does it mean? Humanized by these ego-driven leaders, humanized by human, they're not controlling AI, or humanized based on the basic principle that will make AI super tools, but not a master.
Amen. So that is and I'm glad, Sebastian, Ivan, that you come with solution, because Sebastian, you talk about Russell, the 40-year expert who could not give an answer. And that's what shocked me. I said, this all sparked because my wife and I went to a New York premiere of the film, the AI doc, which I recommend you all watch. This Oscar-winning director interviewed all the top experts in AI around the world, including 3 of the top CEOs of AI companies, including OpenAI. These are supposed to be the world's expert and leaders. And like you said, Sebastian, he asked them, what is AI, the future of AI?
Yeah.
And not a single one of these so-called experts could actually, they're umming and ahhing, they couldn't actually give an answer of why AI will be safe. In fact, a lot of them were very pessimistic. And this film director was so disheartened. Him and his wife was just about to give birth to a child. And so disheartened was that he was so terrified why he should bring a new child into this world. But we're here to provide solution. I'm an optimist. I see a half-filled glass where most people see a half-empty glass. So I am not anti-AI. I think AI is a valuable tool. In fact, I'm probably the oldest guy here. I don't know. I'm probably 64-year old. So I was telling my wife recently that in my days, we used to use logbooks for doing arithmetic, right? Then the calculator came. In my old days, I used to have to print out a map and drive and read instruction while I'm driving at the same time. Now I have GPS. So in our history, we always come with great tools, which we use it right and properly. That's what it is. It is to enhance the quality, the productivity, and yet the profitability of how human can move forward in the workplace, like what you're trying to do, Sebastian, in the workplace, which you're 100% correct. And Ivan, you're also 100% correct. The leadership, regrettably, in this world, that's why we're in this mess. We're not in this mess because humans are inherently evil. No, humans are neither inherently evil, neither inherently angel. We're all here just to make life tolerable and livable and leave a great legacy on this world. But regrettably, right now we have too many bad leaders in the world that's taken us down into the, pardon my English, I have ladies in this present, into the shithole. But again, we're not here to talk about the problems. We all know what the problems are. We're here to talk about the solution. And that's why I was so grateful to talk to Chief Chimi, who I'm going to ask him to introduce himself, and all these great Nigeria. I said Nigeria is a great nation in Africa, most populous, very young, very, very educated, as well. And I believe Nigeria can lead the way forward, not just for Nigeria, not just for Africa, but also for the rest of the world. But we're not going to dive into that. So before I go that, Chief Chimmy, if you're going to unmute yourself and introduce yourself. And I also spoke to Engineer Mo, who was trained also Ukraine. So I'm going to let him have a quick say, and then we'll dive into the solutions for us moving forward. We're not going to cover everything, of course, in this introduction, but we'll have a lot more say. So, Chief Chimmy, can you unmute yourself, sir, and introduce yourself? Thank you.
Dr. Chukutoni Chima is my name, the regional president of China Africa Investment Club and executive chairman of Chinese Africa Investment Limited. And I'm a United Kingdom chartered project management professional, and I'm a software engineer too from NIIT, India. I'm highly interested in the project which Dr. Leong has, which is the subject matter now, just because I'm seeking the way and manner that AGI can be applied in project management execution worldwide. That is why I'm highly interested in it. And we've gone a long way too. He has sent me a letter on his patent, to which we have forwarded to Mr. John Dunu, who is right here too, and who is participating in this, to the Honorable Minister of Science and Innovation of Nigeria. And because of the focus of the AGI, I'm highly interested, and that is why I brought in Engineer Moore, who has another aspect of it, trying to touch the African cultural heritage and language into the AGI. That was why I introduced him yesterday to Dr. Leong. And I think when he talks, he can expatiate on that properly for everyone to understand. The project is a very good one. And I think, like our brother who spoke before, Africa is a great nation with special reference to Nigeria. Nigeria has everything on earth here. Every solid mineral is found in Nigeria. And our human resources are the best worldwide, everywhere. They excel both in US, in Canada, in Europe, in Asia, in UAE, everywhere we are. So we're intellectuals, and you see Nigerians who are academic powerhouse, just like Dr. Leong here. And that is why I'm working with him. And I'm very pleased to be part of this. It's a laudable project. And I think it will fly in Nigeria if we follow the procedure. I can create a special process that will drive it properly. That is my interest here. And I now call upon Engineer Omar to talk on the aspect of the ADI, which is created here in Nigeria.
Thank you, Chief Jimmy. It's an honor and blessed for me to be connected with you and for you to express our desire to work with through our collective with the Nigerian government, like I said to you. And thank you for introducing me yesterday to Engineer Mo. So Engineer Mo, I'd like you to unmute yourself and give a quick introduction of yourself, your training in AI in Ukraine, and what you are envisaging to an African-centric AGI future. So Engineer Mo, please unmute yourself and quick introduction to yourself, sir. Thank you. You're still muted. Yeah.
Good afternoon. My name is Engineer Omar, and first of all, I'm grateful to be here, and thank you for yesterday. We spoke a lot. I study cybersecurity in Ukraine under avionics institution in Ukraine, and for that being earlier 2009 or when AI came out that we're trying to understand what AI was all about. So that was when I take my initiative to be able to understand AI and the power of AI. And as a Nigerian and an African person, uh, uh, a lot of my ideas involve about Africa because when I look at Africa as a whole, I just look at like Africa is just adopting everything from the Western. We don't have indigenous uh, brand products that really understand Africa. If you look at the AI space or social media or any aspects, even emails, everything that being created is just being adopted um, from from the Western world to Africa. Africa doesn't really have a unique aspect. So we are we sit down and look at and say, okay, how can we be able to look at this aspect and be able to start breaking out from the Western world. So 3 years ago, me and my colleague we started working on building an AI that be able to from that will understand African pattern. We built a social media that be able to understand African pattern, and I see that we need to be able to have something very unique from language to we are talking about human understanding, how AI can be able to involve to a human aspect. So there's a lot of factors that is real missing that we still want to be able to say, okay, we need to be able to cover these aspects to be able to uh, get a very good aspect of the African touch in everything that we are doing. So, African and the Western world are two different aspects. Culture, language, and the way of life are two different aspects. So, if we don't be able to develop a solution that can be able to fit into the African pattern, we are still left around. So you look at our culture, you look at our crafts and everything, even to entertainment, to medicals and the rest. Africa is separate. The way we do things, the way we understand things are very separate. So how can we build a solution that is going to be able to be like these people and done through the unique pattern of Africa away. So that is my area of the way I look at we need to be able to go into the solution. Thank you.
Absolutely. So thank you, Engineer Mo, for that introduction in what you are trying to do to build a future AI, African-centric AI. I agree with some of your points, but I'm going to hide. So I know there's other members on this call, but I'm going to dive into the solution with the AGI. Now, you raised important key point. The current AIs are all pattern recognition, okay? Large language module. It is beautiful what these tools can do. Those are tools. But that's exactly also the problem of AI is that it is only a pattern recognition thing and it relies on language, information, data. But I said to Engineer Mo, yes, I understand what they're trying to do. They're trying to teach the African AI based on African languages, culture, etc through the social media. But we all know that right now, most of social media is, pardon my English, is crap, right? Therefore, if you put crap information into a machine, guess what? You're going to get crap output, right? Now, that's fine if all you're doing is creating a movie or writing a email. But when you are weaponizing it, and Engineer Mo got his training in Ukraine. Now, we all know what's going on in Ukraine. Ukraine is probably one of the most advanced AI implementation in their drone. They now have drones flying over a war zone that is fully autonomous, that is controlled by AI, not human. The AI decides who to kill, when to kill, and what to kill. And that's fine when you have a single drone that can destroy a tank. But if you believe in the conspiracy or non-conspiracy, if you believe that the Russian had developed the dead hand, which has, in principle, AI controlling the nuclear bomb, so that if they're eliminated, the AI will cause worldwide destruction, then we're talking about extinction level apocalyptic. And these are not like said, movie type script. These are real, and everyone knows it. And that's why the film, the AI doc, all these experts were umming and ahhing. And like Sebastian pointed, a 40-year expert in AI basically hesitated when he gave, would you take AI back? We cannot take it back. The Pandora box is open. So there's no coming back from it, right? And to be honest with you, I don't want to take it back. I don't want my calculator to remove from me, so I have to use the logbook again. I don't want my GPS to be taken away from me, so I have to print out my map and drive and look at a map. I don't want that. And similarly with AI, but we must ensure, just like my wife said, the hammer that we built is used as a tool to build a house so that we can live in peacefully, lovingly, and not allow that hammer to be used as a weapon of destruction. Okay, so I'm going to dive into what my solution is. So after that movie, motivated and inspired my wife. Again, without sounding too arrogant, I believe I come up with the solution. In fact, Ivan and Sebastian already discussed this. Okay, and that is instead of leading to more and more complexity, looking at more and more pattern recognition, especially if the pattern is filled with junk or malicious data. We must go the opposite way in the control. And that's why my provisional pattern, will I put it, is called small logic model and commandments to humanize AI. Okay, so if you're not chanced, I ask you to read the pattern, which is also on ResearchGate as well. So I'll send that link to those later when I send this recording. Okay, so I think it was either Sebastian or Ivan. Oh no, Ivan, it was you. Actually, almost everything is simple. Nothing in this world is actually complex at all, right? We create complexity because that, pardon my English again, that's a cop-out excuse for us to basically throw junk at it or fail and use as an excuse to fail. But in true life, because I said I'm an experimental physicist, right? So I know physics without sounding too arrogant, right? But the core essence of physics is laid on foundation. In fact, the foundation of everything, not just physics, chemistry, biology, everything, how the stock market operates, is based on the two most simplistic fundamental laws, and that's the law of thermodynamics, energy and entropy. Very, very simplistic. And if we want to solve everything, we must get rid of all that complexity and look at the underlying simplistic nature of everything. And from that, if we build the right foundation, then we can build the complexity on top of it, which allows it to be stable and safe. And that is the issue right now with AI. AI is built on a weak foundation of let's throw as much junk at it. Yeah, there's some good data, but a lot of the data happens to be junk. And you're a malicious operator, where you're a malicious leader, you're a malicious nation. Guess what? You are maliciously feeding malicious, dangerous data into the system. And like you say, if you throw junk into a machine, guess what you're going to get out? Junk. It doesn't take a PhD or genius to figure that out. So we must have a safeguard. And this is where my small logic module, yeah, we can still have the complexity of a large language model, which, like I said to you, helps develop the great tools and etc. But we must govern it with a strong, simple foundation.
Yeah. Yeah.
Based on logic, and like the Ivan the Four sale in my collective, we have the 10 commandments for our members, our charter. Therefore, we do not need millions or quadrillions of data. We need 5, 6, 7, or 10 mainstream foundational base upon which this AGI or this humanized AGI should be built upon. Okay, to safeguard that. And that is what my patent. Now, you say, well, why did I take a patent? Shouldn't I give this freely to will? Well, yeah, I want to give this freely to will, but I want my idea concept to be heard loudly, and that's why I took out the patent. The patent is to make people set up, to make the AGI company, the AI company set up. Oh, Dr. Ying's taking our patent there. What is this patent? Okay, I'm happy to give this idea to Will. Copy it. So whoever, whether you're in China, you're in Nigeria, copy it. Steal my idea. This is not my. Idea is for all of humanity. I have no problem with people stealing my patent, duplicating it, because ultimately, if we don't, then we all end up basically, if AI logically, because no offense, but use logic, right? AGI looks at us human. Yeah, we're beautiful humans, but we're also humans that are capable of mass destruction, raping, pillaging, stealing. Logically, AI should logically say, well, we human are destroying this world, we're destroying each other. Yeah, we should just get rid of human. So logically, we get rid of human, we're back to nature, peace and lovingness, right? But as a human, I don't want to be killed, especially if we have children, right? Especially the next generation children. Yeah, we have our flaws, but we must ensure that the AI creation, which has its own flaws as well, right? We're never going to reach perfection, but we must build the AI that don't just rely on patterns. Sorry, Engineer Mo. Yes, as a tool, it must be used large language module. As a tool, it must based on pattern recognition. But as a tool, but to be humanized with all the flaws of human. The reason why we humans have laws, have compliance in companies, is to ensure that the bad side of us don't get filtered out, that the good aspects of us, the productive aspects of us, that the fact that we can use a hammer to build a house and not as a weapon, that is what we need to ensure that the future of AGI and humans AGI is implemented. And I am so fortunate that Nigeria, like I said to you, has the necessary resources, the necessary intellect, the necessary energy, and that's why Chief Chimmy is speaking to the minister, not only innovation, but as I mentioned in 2018, when I first started, I went to NMPC. The reason why I mentioned NMPC is that we need the necessary resources. If we're going to build the first African data center, we need a power source, and Nigeria is rich in both oil and gas, and natural gas can be used to power the first African major data center. But again, I'm not going to spend too long on that. But these are solutions that we have moving forward. And I want to ensure that we implement, not just in Nigeria, but we have partners in Asia, everywhere else. The implementation needs to be worldwide. And anyway, so thank you for listening on this introduction. We have the solution, and we need to make sure that we get this voice of this solution out to the world. To all these CEOs of the AGI that were interviewed on this movie, when you asked about it and you umming and ahhing and not being able to give you a solution, well, we're giving you the solution. And again, you can steal my patent. I have no problem with that. Implement it safely for the rest of humanity. So, well, anyway, before I finish, I would like to see if Laura, Engineer Kinsley, and John, who not said anything yet, whether they have any comment or want to introduce themselves quickly. And then I'm going to dive back to Sebastian and Ivan and Chief to close out. So Laura, Engineer Kinsley, John, is there anything that you want to say? If so, unmute yourself. Okay. All right. No problem. So anyway, I'm gonna let Ivan.
I'm
I'm gonna
sorry,
go.
I'm actually on a different call with our
Okay, John.
chairman, but it's
Okay,
okay.
not a problem.
I'm listening to us and everything is in line, please. Thank you.
All right, perfect. No, perfect. So I'm going to go back in reverse order now. Okay. So Chichimi, I want to just let you have a quick say. And obviously, if there's anything that we can provide you to discuss with your government, the Minister of Innovation, Minister of Energy, because we're going to implement the first truly humanized AI in Nigeria, we need the government involvement. And hopefully, with the leadership guidance from Ivan, we can ensure that the right leadership guidance is in place. And then, obviously, with the experience and expertise of Sebastian, we can implement the right workforce, the right ethics that will implement to ensure that AI works alongside the human creator to build this beautiful future ahead for us. So, Chief Chimmy, any passing words you want to say? Unmute yourself, Chief Chimmy. Unmute yourself, sir. Unmute yourself. You're on mute right now. All right. Chief Jimmy, sorry, I'm going to have to close out. We've got 8 minutes for the hour. I have to close that ship.
Yeah.
Chief Jimmy?
Yeah. Yes, we are working actually spontaneously to make sure that the government of Nigeria participate in this laudable project.
Perfect.
And I know Mr. John Dunu is listening, and we've been working day and night to make sure that this comes, because it's a good development for Nigeria and the Africa as a whole. Thank you very much.
Excellent. No, thank you, Chief Jimmy. So, Ivan, over to you for some closing out words and comments.
Thank you. Very shortly, you mentioned 2 minutes ago, you mentioned humanized and human being. It's very strange. We don't say tiger being or elephant being. We just say human being. And interesting, you have be in the word being. You have the be. And you in the word become in English, you have to be, and the time will come and you will become. So we have to pick up the right human being for humanized AI. And this
Absolutely.
is the one based on real leadership, like Nelson Mandela. Thank you for your attention.
Absolutely. I have 3 great leaders that I worship. Absolutely. Example, Nelson Mandela, South Africa, Lee Kuan Yew of my birthplace, Singapore, and Atatürk of Turkey. I believe those are the only 3 global leaders, regrettably, that have shown their love for the nation and implement a great leadership quality. So I concur with you. So Sebastian, over to you, sir. Any closing comment?
Yes, thank you very much. So what I see on your humanized AI patent you lodged, the SLM comes straight at the after the AI as a barrier, as a gatekeeper. And what we provide, we look at the input, so how the stuff gets into AI, and that's all human based. And what I see and what we see, if Nigeria wants to take the lead, the global lead in that aspect, which based on your resources, you have the greatest potential if you have resources, then what I see what is required is that you leverage everything you have out of all you got. AI is going to develop that fast within this moment as we speak that time is not on our side. And leveraging everything you have out of all you got circles back to the human self. And this is what I have focused the past 2 decades of my life on, is really developing the human self, and found the right partners that can be onboarded. Some I already have, for exactly to achieve a great outcome on that mission. So technically it will be up to you in the end, if you want to commit, full commitment, and we are ready to rock and roll in any direction.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Sebastian. There is no option B. Option B is extinction.
Okay.
We only have, and I totally agree with you. AI, incredible exponential growth, and we need to ensure that we are at the right running pace to ensure that we implement it correct. Time is not on our side. But anyway, that's the challenge. But as I said to you, we come with solution. I'm going to leave the last word to my wife, who inspired me and motivated me to go onto this path. She's the one that basically challenged me with a Mahatma Gandhi quote, elegant quote, that be the change that you wish the world to be. So hopefully I and the rest of you on here and the members of our collective members globally can implement the right solution so that the future of a humanized AI is a valuable tool for us to survive, to evolve, and ultimately to explore the outer stars and the inner spirit. So last word to my wife before I close out. Thank you, Andrea.
Thank you, Leon. Well, I have a few comments that I like to highlight. One of the things that I consider most important, and that I'm sure that all of the gentlemen of this call are smart enough to know, is that information and knowledge are two completely different things. On the internet, we have a lot of information, which is a knowledge. And what happens on the internet, a very dangerous weapon, is that when a lie is told a million times, it can become a truth in the collective mind. Now, that doesn't make it knowledge. It's just rubbish. It's just information. Sebastian mentioned how we're really doing bad with the timeline, how AI is coming up so fast that there's not much we can do on the path that is going. But to be honest, and making a very critical observation, the last models that are coming out, the updates, the only thing that is different from the older versions is just that they are dumping more information and they're just making it faster on the pattern recognition, but it's the same structure model. The structure isn't changing, and they are never going to achieve the AGI as long as they don't change the same structure. Leon talked about how he will be happy if everybody stole his idea, but here's the thing. Even if that's something that I hope people do, the reality is that it takes very, very genius minds to realize that the key change option is on the structure. And we're talking about a multi-billion-dollar business that it's on crisis. They are desperately seeking for this solution. It's just a matter of time that they stumble upon Leon's patent to realize that that's the key to the actual structural change. Now, there's on the AI documentary, there was a reflection one of the CEOs made, and it's the fact that they estimate that in just 5 years, AI will look at us the same way we look at ants, right? Now, why is that so? Because when a bunch of information is collected, they see us as individuals, not as a collective of humanity. So they see us as inferior as an ant because we hold the same amount of inferiority information. But what happens when you make the structural change that Leon proposes on his patent? When you make that structural change and you put ethics and you create a real human-like mind, is that AI starts looking at humanity as a whole, as humanity was a parent. So imagine if AI looked at us as a mother. Now I'll tell you something. Imagine a mother that is illiterate that sends their kids to school. The mother can be intellectually inferior, but the son loves their mother so much and respects the mother so much that the son will work hard for their mother to have a better life, even though they consider the mother intellectually inferior. We have the key to turn AI into our child, so it worships us like gods instead of look at us like ants. And I think that's not just revolutionizing, but we literally have the key to save the future of humanity, as dramatic as I may sound. Thank you, guys.
Amen. Well, you hear that, guys? We have a bright future ahead for us. It's not going to be easy, but these are challenges that we must overcome. Like I said, there's no option B. So thank you for this awesome introduction. We've gone to the hour, so thank you again. I'm sure we'll stay connected. I'm going to send you this recording, the AI summary. Yes, I do use, like I said, use the AI tool as well. So thank you, everyone. God bless you. All the best to you. All right. We'll be in touch again. Take care. God
Thank
bless.
you very
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.